welcome again. This is your host, Francesco. Today we have the honor and the pleasure to talk with Jane about a number of subjects. We're going to talk about diversity, starting in cyber, mentorship, and what's a challenge for entrepreneur, and how to share and how to keep back and hold back whenever you're an entrepreneur, but also in cybersecurity. We're going to touch on all these subjects. We're going to hear from our community. And as always, the podcast is going to be split in two parts. First part with Jane and a little bit of an interaction. Hey, welcome, Jane, to the podcast. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, really happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
No, thank you very much for making your time, coming to our community, helping us getting better. So let me start by asking Jane a little bit of an introduction of yourself. We know each other for
Yeah, yeah.
quite a time now, but maybe for our community,
Okay.
just introduce ourselves.
Yes. So I am a cybersecurity entrepreneur, a best-selling author and a speaker, and I own a company called Cybersecurity Capital, and we are a niche training and consulting firm where we believe that a failure to attract and retain women is making us less safe. And we work with leaders and we work with women in cybersecurity who are ambitious, high achievers, and who have a give to gain mentality. And through the solutions that we offer, we really are driving the market with data-driven conversations, and we're doing a lot of research with the work that we're doing. And we offer three solutions out there in the market. The one that I'm working on, so we do coaching, we do training, but the one that I am bringing to market right now is for women, and it is actually all to do with mentoring, but it's so much more. So it's about skilling up, and there's a big focus on soft skills, and we're looking at people who are coming into the industry, we're looking at leaders, and we're looking at entrepreneurs. And that's my big focus for this year. And next year, it is really on the leadership aspect. So that's what we do as an organization.
And you've been involved in the community with your insecurity community. You're a big supporter of women in cyber.
Yeah. So I've been in the industry for 22 years this year. I built my own global penetration testing company. I've worked for some well-known security consultancies, and I've also worked with some of the accreditation companies like OWASP and Crest, and helped bring Cyber Essentials to market when it launched. And I'm a board advisor. I'm a judge for many awards. I win awards myself, and I'm shortlisted, which is incredible. It's just the icing on the cake. But I do a lot of work around that. So right now, I'm a judge for SE Awards, the Business Book Awards, the European Business Awards, and the New Zealand Tech Awards. So, and there might be another one coming next year, but quite a few awards.
Yeah, and probably we're gonna touch base because me and you, we just absolutely
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So we do a lot of work together on the entrepreneurship side of things. Yeah.
So, and I'm your host, Francesco, the director of NSC 42, and now director of the Cloud Security Alliance UK and Ireland, so chair. I've recently announced the directorship from last week. I think we did the votes and it was unanimous vote. So yay me!
Exactly. Yeah. Well done. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And I'm here to actually sponsor the community. Me and you do a lot of initiative for women in cyber. I'm a keynote, so whenever I have some free ticket, I offer it with priority to diversity, women in cyber. Actually, on that subject, last week we did a very, very good, very niche roundtable on how to start in cyber for women and Asian and Black women. They were literally starting, and the great thing about the roundtable, we did it with Seda, and it was great because all the people that were around the table were starting in cyber that day or that week. You know, they were really coming from different fields, so it was great moments. So I'm going to share some of those moments and some of those questions as videos in the upcoming months, so stay tuned.
Great.
So on the subject of actually cracking into security, how did you start into security?
How did I? Well, a very, very unconventionally, I think. So I came into security in 1997 and I went straight into entrepreneurship. So my background is in art and design. So I have BA honours from Loughborough University in woven textile design. And I fell pregnant just after graduating. I worked as a designer. So I was a nominated Young British Designer, worked successfully, if you can call it that, as a designer, but really couldn't make ends meet. And I was a single parent supporting my son. And so what somebody said to me was, you've got a good brain, you know, it's time to go and get a proper job. And, you know, this was prior to the internet. So for me, I looked at what I could do and I retrained. I ended up in sales and then I ended up meeting someone and starting a business in technology. And because I was interested in technology, but I would say definitely a bit of a Luddite, the only two things that interested me were artificial intelligence, because I thought that was really interesting, or security. And artificial intelligence was just too new in those days, but security really was just getting off the ground. And so that's what we started with. We did consultancy, we did high availability servers and networking and implementation. And we sold locally to begin with as a value-added reseller, and then we niched down. So I'm good at spotting trends, and we niched down and specialized about 5 years down the line and became purely penetration testing. And in those days, there were very few pen testers around, so it was quite easy to become very well known. And we were very technically orientated. So we only worked with leading organizations and buyers who really understood the market. And we also only took on board consultants who were top of their game. So when it comes to pen testing, some of these consultants are, they're still they're still around. You know, some of them are CISOs now. They're in leading positions.
I know a few of
Yeah,
them.
exactly. You know, yeah. So we had, we had an amazing company. I'm very, very proud of that company and what we did. I really am. Yeah.
So how hard was to break up from the company? Because I've sold and break out from few of them my own, and I know it's a struggle for entrepreneurs because it's like our baby, right?
Yes. I mean, that is a whole story in itself, and there is a very, very big story there. Very few people know the whole story, and I can't go into it. I'm not to kind of go into it right now, but all I will say is that was my baby. So it really was, you know, when you build a company, and we'll probably touch on this, but when you build a company, it's like you're giving birth to something. And any of the mums, you know, if there are women who've had children particularly, they'll understand what it's like. And then if they're entrepreneurs, they're really going to understand it. But it's like you're giving birth, you know, you've got that gestation period. So you're giving birth to something and you're excited and you're scared, and then, you know, this baby arrives and you start to grow it, and, you know, you make mistakes and you're learning as you go. And then you kind of move through these different phases, you know, the teenage phase, you know, the toddler phase, you know, then they're like,
Growing up and
exactly.
and
And then
accelerating
exactly. And all of those things happen. And it's an amazing journey, just like life is an amazing journey. And it's a roller coaster and it tests you. And we were an organic, you know, my company was an organically grown company. So we chose not to get investment and go down that route. So we grew everything organically. And yeah, like I said, there were highs and lows with that. And the company almost went under at one point. So it had to be turned around. And that was, again, something that I'm very proud of doing. But it's part of the journey. So the highs, the lows, you know, the winning of clients, the losing of clients, and so on.
So I've been on that journey on some of the I shared some of the pain, and I never went for VC funding because it terrifies me because I lose control of my company.
This is it. And yeah, you lose control, and you can also lose your job. So it's just like, lose control, lose your job, and potentially lose your business. But then there are all the advantages, that you can get from, getting funding if you need to take your business in that direction.
Yeah, you get acceleration, but you also get somebody that controls your board, somebody that gave you direction, and maybe it's not your direction.
Yes, yeah,
It could be a
absolutely.
good and a bad. It depends how you spin
Exactly.
it. But it's an experience.
Yeah, I've known, I mean, look, there are loads of success stories from that I can think of. Companies that just wouldn't have achieved it unless they'd gone down that route, and have great success stories, built, developed, R&D, innovation, teams, great sale, so it definitely can work.
So from my perspective, I would say service company that shouldn't go to VC. It should be grown organically because you retain that control and that quality. But for product, you can scale really, really quickly if you have the right backing in VC or
Yeah.
angel investment.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
and I know that you are on the advisory board of a few of them, so you must have had some experience.
Exactly. I mean, it's almost, I think you could almost say though that we're moving into, I mean, certainly when you build a service company, in terms of the return on investment that you're going to get when you sell it, it's not as high as if you've got a product company.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm seeing are more companies, you've still got companies going down, say particularly the pen testing route. There are loads of companies, little companies that are starting out, wanting to scale, and are just offering a very traditional model in pen testing and then kind of expanding into other service areas around it. But the return, if you want to build a company as an asset and sell it, it's not as great as it would be if you were building product. So what I see are more and more companies going down the kind of service/product line. So they are packaging the service up as a product, which I think is smart, and then developing the IP, the methodologies and things like that, so that they're adding more value. Yeah, from a sale perspective, a long-term perspective, which
And the valuation goes up.
exactly, which I think is a smart thing to do. I really do.
Yeah, and the valuation goes on the skyrocket. I think just today VMware announced they gobbled up Carbon Black and another service company. And the valuation was over the roof, even
Yeah.
higher than the VC were
This is
evaluating. And I have a few friends down in Silicon Valley that were just like, yeah, we didn't expect that to happen. Two companies to acquisition in one day. It's like,
This is it. Yeah. And again, it comes down to strategy. It's just like, what's your strategy? Is it growth through acquisition? So all you're doing is literally just buying companies and growing that way. I've seen some companies operate very successfully and grow very, very quickly just on a growth acquisition strategy, as opposed to really growing their sales teams and developing business that way and maximizing that opportunity. So it's purely through acquisition, and then they sell at the right time, and make a lot of money.
yeah, no, that's good, but it's still giving up your babies. That is
Exactly. Yeah. And then if you can't see your baby, which actually was the position that I was in, so no contact, nothing. So it was I can't even see it. My team, the people that I cared about, I had no contact. I wasn't allowed contact or anything like that. So I walked away as an employee to begin with, and then I walked away as a business owner, with the sale of it. So yeah, no contact, not allowed. It was
So
just hard.
from a woman perspective, what was the biggest challenge in getting into the business, into the entrepreneurship mindset?
So, well, say for me, the biggest challenge I had was not as a woman. And I wouldn't have recognized it, and I wasn't kind of brought up that way anyway, because I was brought up with the mentality of you can achieve anything that you want, providing you work hard and you set your mind to it. And that's certainly how I bring my kids up, and how I bring up, and mentor and train and consult those around me. So I see a lot of limiting beliefs in, a lot of limiting beliefs around. So you can do anything that you want. And the biggest challenge that I had when I started my business was actually age. And again, I think that was more my perception of it, because I was in my 20s and I looked young. So it was just like, I didn't know much about tech, and security in those days really was technical. It was born from a technical you know,
Background.
exactly, environment, IT security, information security, and so forth. Now it's kind of evolved, but I was very conscious, and I don't think anybody else cared so much, but I was very conscious of my age and would I be taken seriously because I was only in my 20s. Now, the truth of the matter was and still is nobody cares. Nobody cares as long as you can solve their problem. If you come across as being professional, and for me, I always made sure I care so much about my clients, and I always have done, and I care about quality. So reputation and quality of service is absolutely paramount to me. So what I would always do was take care of the client, take care of the prospect, and make sure that I got them the best advice that they could. And I would stick my hand up and say, if I don't know the answer, then I will get you the answer and make sure that comes to you, and in some cases be the facilitator. Which certainly, say when I was working for a pen testing company, to me, that's hardcore techie stuff.
Yeah.
And I can never be that. I've had sometimes the pen testers say to me, you say you're not technical, Jane, but literally you're talking as if you are. And I don't actually say I'm not technical anymore, because it's not really relevant. It never comes into a conversation that I have. I'm about leading teams. I'm about helping people to deliver the best work that they can, and so much of that actually comes from the mindset rather, and the skills that you have to lead yourself, and then if you're leading others, your team or company.
I think it comes from the fact that we are a very, very, very technical background, technical industry, and then we're trying to change now. Security. We used to be the guys sitting in the back of the room, in the dark hole.
Exactly.
And now with the cool kids around the block, on the
Yeah.
stage, and we need to be
Evolve.
recognized. Exactly, evolve.
Yeah.
Recognize that there are different shape and aspect of it, and cyber is not just techie stuff, it's not just upsec, it's not just development, but it's a whole range of things, and
Exactly.
everybody's welcome.
Yeah, and it makes it so much more interesting. I think it makes it so much interesting. I mean, some people will get scared by that and fearful, and you see that in the way that they react, or you see that in the words that they use, or the way that they try and steer conversations and then use technical jargon to alienate people. But to me, that's yeah, that goes on, and that's something that you can deal with.
That's any change is scary, right? As an industry
Yeah.
change, and people that have been in this industry for a long time, and maybe they don't know, they lose their footing, and I lose my footing by time to time when I see things coming up, and it's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I know. And also we work, I mean, as people, as human beings, we work very hard to maintain the status quo. So
Yeah.
we don't like change, and we're in the business of risk. So any change is risky to us.
Yeah.
This is our business. So, we're the best at it and the worst offenders. And this is what I see. I see so much pull and tension. We're in tech, which is evolving rapidly, and we're going into the fourth industrial revolution, which is huge.
The digital.
Speed, yeah, absolutely, agility and things like that. But yet we are slow. So it's just that, and I understand all the reasons why we want to be slow, and we question things, and we sometimes question things, but we don't like change. We're risk averse, but yet we're in technology, and technology has to move and evolve and move at speed, and technology is all about advancement and creativity and evolution. That's what I think.
And you can't fight it.
You can't fight it.
Because it's gonna just swipe you away, and you're gonna be the guys left behind. So
Yes, yeah.
if I can ask you something, so when you started, you came from an artistic background. So how did you leverage your mindset and skill set and these kind of tools that gave you the edge, and ultimately that gave you the edge over the pure technical background?
Well, I had a deep desire. So I've always had a good brain, and that stood me in good stead. And I've been open to learning. So this whole continuous improvement, and always wanting to be better. So yeah, continuous improvement, always wanting to be better, always learning, always reading. and mixing with people who can help. You know, people who believe in the same things as me, and who can help me to, you know, this company to get to where we want to get. We're going to build this company, and the objective is to sell it and make millions, so that for me, I could go off and get back to my art, because I couldn't afford to do my art, which was my passion. So it was very much a case of, this is a great opportunity. This is a way to earn great money, as opposed to, I love this industry. I care so deeply about it. I care so much about the people. This is why securing your business and your country and individuals matters, you know, which is where I am now. So I am obsessive about supporting the people in our industry and improving security, and making sure that we are absolutely understanding the problem rather than the symptoms of our industry, and moving forward and doing a better job of reducing risk, because that's really what our business is. You know, so that's kind of how it differs. You know, yes, I do want to make a ton of money, but the most important thing to me is actually helping people and being true to myself, and moving forward from that perspective, as opposed to, this is a great opportunity, I want to make a shed load of money and then retire with millions.
And that's the difference. I think that's the difference from a person that just invests in a company, or a person that is personally invested in a company and has a why, a cause,
absolutely,
a mission.
yes.
We are on a mission,
Absolutely.
and we have a responsibility towards the society where we live, because we are in this field, and we're here to defend who is not able to defend himself.
This is it, and that's a personal choice as well, you know. So say when I talk about this, and we completely agree on this subject, but when I talk about it's very much, that's your call. If you want to go and build a security company, if we're talking about entrepreneurship, and your objective is purely to go and make millions, then fine, that's who you are, and that's what you want to do, and that's fine for you. But that's not fine for me and the people who I resonate with, and who come and join the Insecurity Tribe, which we didn't actually speak about in the beginning, you know, which is this tribe, and it has a code of conduct, and it also kind of follows on from the book I wrote about really performance, but by using women as a lead in order to get greater diversity in every aspect into our industry, and actually improve the way that we go about these things. So improve our thinking, our decision making, and ultimately our performance. So therefore, as with everything, the people who I do business with, as clients, as partners, as students, and so forth, as employees who come and work for me, or suppliers who come and help me do the stuff, we all believe in the same thing. You know, that's how we rock and roll.
Yeah, and I think that's a great, that's how we got close to each other, because it's like we resonate, we have a shared vision, a shared mission.
Exactly.
And that's a great thing of your insecurity community. It's like, you know, that by getting in that community, getting in our community, either you resonate you resonate with each other and with us, or you don't, and it's perfectly happy to walk away. It's like, this is our community, this is our why, this is our mission to the society, this is what we want to be.
And there also is, completely agree with that, there is so much out there for everyone. So say, you know, one of the core values, you know, for the Insecurity Tribe, and certainly for me and how I do business, is this whole abundance. You know, we are moving into an abundant business model anyway, going into the fourth industrial revolution, but there is so much for everyone. So, and this relates to so many things. Yes, as an entrepreneur, yes, as a business person, yes, as an employee, yes, also as a woman in the workforce, you know, let alone security. You know, this whole kind of limiting of everything, which is what I see a lot of what goes on now. This lack of victim mindset, limiting beliefs. No, I can't share. And that's why, for me, it's about giving to gain. So this, and opening up, all of these things, so that we are, we're in an abundant, a very giving mindset. So we lift each other up, and we all do well together by sharing, collaborating, and moving together as an industry to solve this problem, rather than competition. And competition is healthy, but no, you can't have it. It's mine. I'm not going to share. You're not going to get access. Everything's siloed down. Everything's locked down, and there is a lack of, and this knowledge hoarding.
Yeah, and I think I absolutely agree and love what you say, because you resonate with me so much. And I'm all for open sharing, giving back to the community, and I try to get together with industry forums, and sometimes I resonate with some of them, like the Always We Are initiative, the woman. There are tons of groups in London and around the UK that I resonate with, and I support and sponsor and try to help. But some of them, one of the key challenges I see for women, and then maybe you can share your thoughts. Like, I haven't seen a lot of them working with each other, with each other's group.
Absolutely. There can be cat fights, there can be bitching, there can be a lack of, and I've been party to some of that. So I've been like the middle person, trying to sometimes mediate and get, it's what I've done in companies, with teams and departments and things like that. So bring people together. We all want the same. We all got the same objective. Let's work together and do a better job. And so I played that role sometimes with some of the women's groups out there. I've heard the stories out there, and some of them are really disappointing and shocking. I've also felt sometimes, and I'm holding my hand up here and being totally transparent with you, but sometimes I've had this tension within myself. It's just like, well, do I do that? Because they're doing something similar to me. So then I go into the lack of, and then you go into the whole women thing, and it's just like, and whenever that happens, I always stop myself and go straight out there, and it's just like, don't be an imbecile, give. But it's still, I mean, I do that on the basis.
Mentality. It's a basic
exactly it is a basic, it's how we're wired, as women dealing with women, as mammals, female species, but as people. So it's really tough, because often you're going against how we are wired. And then if you look at women in a male-dominated industry, so we're in a minority anyway, so we've got the pressures of stereotypes and being judged, and maybe there only being one position. So we feel that environment, so there is so much stuff going on, and it's hardly surprising that these things happen. And it is hard. And then also there's misunderstandings and miscommunication. And then we're also battling time. I know, say, for instance, right now, that there's something that I should have done with a women's organization, and I haven't managed to do it. But that, because I haven't managed to get to it, because there's so much going on. And it's a case of focusing. And we've had this conversation often about focusing and not getting distracted, and not giving too much and saying yes to too many things, which, if you're a giver, it's very easy to do, is going back and explaining. And if you don't do that, then there can be misinterpretations, or you haven't done it, so therefore you don't care, or you're competing. So the communication aspect is incredibly important for us in our industry, and that's one of the reasons why I work really hard.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Mentoring Monday podcast. This was the first part, and this was your host, together with Jane, Frankland, helping us understand the challenge in our industry, the role of diversity, the challenge of becoming an entrepreneur. I hope you enjoy, and you're going to listen to the second part that's going to be out in a week or so. I wish you a pleasant evening and a pleasant continuation of your day. This was your host, Francesco Cipollone, for the Mentoring Monday podcast.